Tonight you'll pour a glass of milk without a second thought. It came from a cow, completely ordinary. Somewhere right now, a lioness is nursing her cubs. Her milk is thick, rich, closer to cream than to anything in your fridge. You've never tasted it, and you never will. Not because it's illegal, not because it's disgusting, but because your body might genuinely struggle to handle it. Most people assume milk is basically the same substance everywhere, just drawn from different animals. That isn't close to true. Milk is a chemical instruction set written by evolution for one specific infant. And predator milk was never written for you. Researchers who study this compare milk across species. The field is called comparative lactation. Scientists like Olaf Oftedal have spent decades measuring milk from over 100 animals, and what they've found should change how you look at that carton. Start with fat. Cow milk is around 4% fat. Light? Familiar? Easy. Lion milk sits closer to 10%. Seal milk can reach 50%. That's not milk in any recognizable sense. It's closer to whipped butter. There's a brutal reason. A newborn seal has about 30 days, sometimes less, to build enough blubber to survive freezing water. There's no time for gradual growth, so the mother's body produces something closer to fuel than food. Picture a pup just days old, out on the ice, drinking a liquid so rich it's nearly solid, and doubling its body weight in under 2 weeks. No human infant does that, ever. Now imagine drinking that same liquid tonight. Your digestive system is built for something around 4% fat. A 50% fat drink isn't nutrition to your gut. It's an assault, and your body would object long before you finished the glass. But fat is only the opening problem because predator milk is engineered differently at the molecular level too. Consider a wolf pup, born blind, deaf, and almost entirely helpless, with barely any immune system of its own for the first weeks of life. So the mother's milk does the immune system's job for it. Wolf and lion milk carry high concentrations of immune proteins, things like lysozyme and immunoglobulins, essentially pre-built defense molecules. It isn't just food. It's a temporary immune system delivered in liquid form, tuned to that species' specific threats. Your body already has its own fully developed immune system. It has no use for another species' defense code arriving by the glass full. And the differences run all the way down to sugar. Human milk and cow milk are both relatively high in lactose. Milk sugar, because lactose is fast, efficient fuel for a rapidly growing brain. A human baby's brain roughly triples in size in its first year, and it needs that steady sugar supply. But true carnivores often produce milk that's lower in lactose. Even as infants, predators don't handle sugar the way herbivores and omnivores do. Their metabolism is organized around burning protein and fat, not sugar. So the milk matches the metabolism it was built for. Hand a human that low sugar, high fat, immune loaded liquid, and you're not giving your body what it expects. You're giving it a formula written for something else entirely. So why did the idea of predator milk never even get started? Part of it is obvious and practical. You cannot milk a lioness. But even if you could, there's a deeper reason no such industry exists. Every dairy animal humans have ever domesticated shares one trait. They're all herbivores. Cows, goats, sheep, camels, water buffalo, yaks. Everyone eats plants, produces milk in large volumes, and can be handled safely in a herd. Predators break all three conditions. A lioness produces a small amount of milk for a small litter and would kill you before you got anywhere near her. There has never been a domesticated predator dairy animal anywhere on Earth. Not one in all of human history. That isn't coincidence. It's a filter that evolution and practicality built together. And there's something stranger underneath it. Picture early humans, tens of thousands of years ago, watching a wolf den from a safe distance. They saw the pups, saw the mother nursing. It never once occurred to them to drink what she was producing. Instinct told them what science would later confirm, that milk wasn't meant for them. Instead, they eventually turned to grazing animals. Slow, manageable, abundant. That single choice, made thousands of years ago, quietly shaped the entire food system you still live inside. Every carton in your fridge descends from that decision. And here's where it doubles back on you, because most adult humans can't properly digest milk at all. Around 2/3 of the world's adults are lactose intolerant, and not to lion milk, to ordinary cow milk. Sit with that. Most of humanity already struggles with the safe, mild, low-fat herbivore option. So why can some people drink it their whole lives without trouble? A genetic mutation. Researchers studying lactase persistence, including genetic work in the early 2000s associated with scientists like Nabil Sabri and Nata, traced it back thousands of years. Somewhere around 7,000 to 9,000 years ago, in populations tied to early cattle herding cultures in Europe and parts of Africa, a mutation appeared that keeps the body producing lactase, the enzyme that breaks down milk sugar, well into adulthood. Before that mutation, no adult human on Earth could drink milk comfortably. Not even cow milk. Infants could, adults couldn't. That is the ancestral default for every human who has ever lived. The ability to drink milk as an adult isn't the normal human condition. It's a recent upgrade, carried by populations that happened to live alongside dairy animals long enough to evolve it. So when you pour that glass tonight, you're not just drinking milk. You're drinking proof of a mutation. Now put predator milk back in the frame. If most humans already struggle with mild-mannered cow milk, then a liquid built for a 30-day blubber sprint, or for a metabolism running on fat and protein instead of sugar, wouldn't register as milk to your gut at all. It would land more like a supplement designed for another species. And digestion isn't even the last problem. There's a second danger in predator milk that almost nobody considers: concentration. Because predators sit at the top of the food chain, whatever they're exposed to accumulates in their bodies. Heavy metals, environmental pollutants, compounds that build up over a lifetime of eating other animals. A herbivore eats plants straight from the ground. A predator eats the animals that ate those plants, and every step up the chain concentrates whatever was below it. Scientists call this biomagnification, and fat-rich tissue, which is exactly what milk is precisely where many of these compounds tend to collect. So predator milk isn't only nutritionally foreign. In some cases, it could carry a lifetime of concentrated toxins funneled straight into the one liquid you'd be expected to drink. One more filter, built in long before anyone understood the chemistry. Here's the part almost nobody stops to think about. Milk isn't a universal liquid. It's a message. Every species writes its own version according to how fast the infant must grow, how helpless it is at birth, and what it needs to survive. A seal pup needs blubber in weeks, so its milk screams fat. A wolf pup needs defense before it can defend itself, so its milk carries immunity. A human baby needs a fast-growing brain, so its milk runs on sugar. And you have spent your entire life drinking a message written for a baby cow. We call it milk, as though it's one thing. It isn't. It's thousands of different biological instructions, each locked to a single species and a single survival strategy. Drink the instructions meant for a calf, and your body largely accepts them. Try the ones meant for a lion cub, and it would reject them almost on contact. So next time you see that carton, look at it differently. It isn't neutral, and it isn't universal. It's leftover code written for an animal that was never you. Somewhere out there, a lion cub is drinking arcane code written just as precisely for it. 2 glasses, 2 entirely different messages, both saying the same thing in different languages. Grow, survive, become what you're meant to be. We just happen to be the species that worked out how to steal another animal's message and make it work most of the time. Because even the milk you trust, the one in your fridge right now, still isn't fully compatible with most adult bodies on the planet. You aren't really built for cow milk either. You just happen to carry the mutation that lets you get away with it.